All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually starting the podcast by myself. And to give you a little intro, we're going to have on um, a friend of mine, a former um, wrestler from the Northern Illinois area. Many people may know him. He wrestled at Harlem High School. I think he graduated in 2004. Wrestled at Northwestern. He's been on the podcast before. Brandon Lozdoski. Um, he is currently coaching in Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, at a high school called Oak Grove. And I wanted to chat with him and preview an upcoming tournament. This weekend is the Rockford East Giardini Invitational. It's been going on for a couple of years now. Pretty good tournament. Gene Lee, head wrestling coach at Rockford East, he also may join for a moment. But Brandon is bringing his team from Mississippi up to Rockford, and I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see, the athletes that he has been able to coach for a couple of years now, and all around just kind of pumped to bring him back into the Northern Illinois area. Brandon was a state finalist, um, a freshman state place winner, um, and yeah, just a good friend of mine and a good mentor of mine. When I was a younger kid in high school, he was somebody who I looked up to, and I had the opportunity to kind of model my training after. As he was an upperclassman, I would go to Harlem as a Belvedere kid and go train with him all the time. He'd take me on runs, lifts, all the above. He taught me how to kind of get after it. So, yeah, we're bringing him on, and we're going to talk about the season. Well, Brandon's not here yet, so it's not a very good podcast if the guest of honor isn't here.
Right.
Um,
I'm
but
pretty excited. I'm pretty excited for him.
yeah,
It's kind of a cool thing for him to be able to come home and wrestle in front of his buddies and not wrestle but coach.
well, while I got you, maybe it might not work out if you time wise, but just before, maybe preview. You guys have a lot of teams coming. Obviously, Brandon is bringing his team from Mississippi up. I know Harlem is actually in the tournament this year. They weren't last year.
Yep.
Any new changes to the tournament?
We only got a few new teams. Belmont, Wisconsin. They're this will be their third year in it, but that's coached by oh my gosh, what's the kid's name? Emmerich Williams from Lockport.
Okay.
Graduated a few years ago. Well, a few years, probably 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Well, great. So you got a Wisconsin team coming in,
Got
and
two. Got Sun Prairie West. I think it's a second year high school, maybe first year high school. So I got Belmont, Wisconsin. I had Madison West, but they pulled out last week. They got a new coach. Well, actually, the coach at Sun Prairie West was at Madison West, and he forewarned me last year when he got the job at Sun Prairie West that Madison West would probably pull out. He said because they got a new young coach, and he said I don't even think he knows wrestling. But
yeah, but you have a really good list of teams. Geneseo are they still in it?
man, Geneseo's in it, Rochelle's in it. I'll run down them real quick because I don't know anything about rankings because I don't ever care about rankings.
Yeah.
So Matea Valley, Belvedere North, Chicago St. Patrick, Crystal Lake South, Crystal Lake Prairie Ridge. Dakota just got in last week because they had a mess up in their schedule. East Moline's back in it. They were in it years ago. Freeport, Geneseo, Hampshire. Thornton just pulled out today because they're having issues. Johnsburg, LaSalle, Peru, Harlem, Madison West. No, Madison West is out. Sorry. Mahomet Seymour, Niles, Northridge Prep, That's a young program. Of course, Brandon's team, North Boone, Richmond, Burton, Rochelle, us, Sun Prairie West, Winnebago, Woodstock North, and Zion Benton. 28. Was at 30. Now we're down to 28.
I see. Yeah, I was hoping to see some of the other single A teams in the area. I was thinking about Byron. I'm glad that Dakota got in. Winnebago's been in there too, right?
Yeah, Winnebago. Yeah, they've been in. This is, I think, their third year too. It might be their fourth year. Yeah, they got in.
Great.
Dakota got in. They were supposed to wrestle. Something happened with that Washington duel they used to do. They moved it to Friday, and I don't know, something. I don't know. Maybe it's just that they don't have kids and they're not very good. And that's what they're telling me. But so
Well, again, I think I'd be
Vinny
curious to
Albert
see.
reached out. I'm not going to tell the Alberts no. I mean,
Yeah.
they're good people.
Yeah, you don't have do you have a limit as far as how many people you get to be?
Well, I don't want a full 32. Well, I mean, we could have a full 32. It wouldn't bother me. But, it's a 32-man bracket. So I don't want it any larger than 32 because I don't want to get the pigtails and all that other stuff.
Well, Gene, I'm going to cut you off real quick because the guest of honor, Brandon Lozdoski,
Yeah.
has joined the chat. Gene's on, but Gene is visibly driving, so he's only on audio.
Gino,
Brandon, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
hey, I can't explain how excited I am and honored that you are having us back. We're really excited about it. Pretty pumped. Happy to be coming home. It's been several years.
It's going to be pretty cool. And if I gotta do this to get you home, that's what I got to do to get
Dude,
you home.
that's all it takes, man. Is just invite us to a wrestling tournament, right? I just had to start a team and get invited back. It doesn't matter if my family has birthdays or holidays. It's like, nah, it's got to be wrestling.
Yeah. I know you've been in town. You get busy, but we haven't been able to catch up. So now I'm making you come see me.
Yeah, that's right. What's going
I'm
on,
glad.
Dalton?
Yeah, I was pumped to see that you were coming up for this, and I thought this week was going to be a great opportunity to kind of preview the tournament a little bit, and then the fact that you're coming home for this, I thought it'd be cool to just chat about it. I know that in the years past, that tournament's been a good early season tournament, right? It's there's a lot of good teams that are, for Gene's situation, they see a lot of those teams towards the end of the season again. So it's a good time for them to see them in the start of the season, kind of get a feel for the rest of the season. Having the ability to see your team, a team that you recently started, you're in your, second year?
Second year. Yeah.
Yeah. So second year in, see what you've been able to accomplish in a short time. I'm excited to see.
Uh, looking at the teams there, Gene, I guess, are they mostly, I don't know the classes. So are we looking at bigs, 3, 2, 1 combination?
A lot of 2A, couple 1As, and I think there might be a couple 3A schools there too.
Yeah, Harlem.
It's a good early season tournament. I mean, we see Rochelle enough. They're in like every single tournament we're in. But Geneseo's kind of the same way. We're in probably 3 tournaments together as well. But it's gonna be cool. I thought it was awesome too because we got Messink. Messink wanted in, but then you were there, so now Harlem's there, the school you graduated from and wrestled for. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's a really, it's a really full circle moment. And I think it's just part of wrestling that's amazing, right? And I think if anything this year has just taught me how much the sport can do for a person's life and how it can be impactful and the relationships you build over it. And Gene, you started as a mentor for me You've coached me along with Dalton. You've put us in that van and traveled around the country with us. Um, I got out of college. You welcomed me back into the room as a coach, so I was able to coach under you. And it's just been a great opportunity. I think some of the things I've learned from you are just stick with me today. I think more so this year than ever. It's like I got to tap into the Gene Lee. And you say you have a coaching tree, and I would say I'd fall under that coaching tree. Um, so I really am privileged, Gene, for everything you've done for the sport of wrestling and that relationship we had, and um, just even inviting us back. You've always kept your door open. You've always said, "Come in." You want kids around, and um, greatly appreciate you.
Brandon, I appreciate it, but what you guys don't understand is what you guys have done for me. And it's it's a cool thing, and it's cool to see. And as I get older, and I'm looking at my coaching staff right now, and looking at what we did this past week, it was kind of crazy. We had 3 tournaments. It's over almost 800, maybe it was over 800 kids that we had in our building of last 3 tournaments last week, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. 70 some teams, and I mean, I got to thinking about it Saturday night, and I'm going, what did I just do? I mean, it was the busiest week of my life, I think, but it was fun. It was rewarding, and I just like hosting wrestlers and giving them a place to go and compete, and it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to having you guys here. I'm super excited about it. My principal's stoked. So
Yeah.
And
Who would
it's gonna
ever
be
thought
cool.
you have a team from Mississippi coming up, right?
Everybody
Like
said we didn't know they had wrestling in Mississippi. I said, well, they
you're
don't have
about to
very many
find
teams,
out.
but they got one.
Brandon, bring your shoes, dude. You gotta show them. You got an old timers component to this tournament.
We could make one. Definitely make one Friday night
Dude,
after we get done wrestling the tournament.
it better be like one match, man. Don't do more than that.
Brandon, you
Last
keep
time you guys tried to sign me up for everything, and it's like I was not living right, and I wasn't ready for multiple matches. But you seem to torture me.
yeah, Brandon, you
Um,
keep saying invite back. So what are you alluding to? You haven't been, from my knowledge, you have not been wrestling in this area. You haven't brought a team to this area, have you?
no, invited us back, like invited me back, like said, Gene reached out and
I
he
got you.
said, hey, we have a tournament, and if
Well,
you
you
can
said
make
back,
it,
so I was confused. I thought it was like the
yeah.
second time. I'm like, did I miss this?
No, 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 no. I know our kids are really excited about it, and a lot of the conversations I now have to peel back and try to say, "Oh, wrestling in Illinois is not that good," because they're just afraid. They hear Illinois and they've just known about it for a while now, and
Yeah.
it's like, "You guys are gonna be all right. Just have fun, man. Score points. Don't worry about it." And we're not coming there to. It's bigger than just the wrestling, right? Uh, that's what's also fun about it. We're making a trip through Chicago. We're going back to we're going to Northwestern, taking a college campus tour. Spoke with my old college coach, Timmy. He's going to give us a tour of the athletic facilities. So this would be something brand new for these kids in life. A lot of them haven't been outside of, they haven't seen a big city like Chicago. Um, I'm looking forward to them freezing a little bit, pumping some gas. I was hoping a little bit of snow, but we didn't get that. So
It's not over yet. Things could
yeah.
change. But
Um,
it's cold. It's pretty chilly. I mean, it's not freezing, but it's
Yeah.
not
And now, is there
summer.
any other new programs in this tournament, Gene? Is there some or just kids that have a lot of turnover on the rosters? Sometimes I listen to your stuff, Dalton, and it sounds like some of those schools in the area are constantly rebuilding teams. So there's probably some kids out there that don't have 10 years of experience.
Well, I think Sun Prairie West. It's either their first year as a school or first year as a sport. The school only if it didn't open this year, it opened last year. So it's a very new school, and I don't know how they integrated everything, and if they started out with like freshmen and sophomores and are working up, you know, as they advance up, and so I know that's a brand new program. So
Yeah, and this is the first year. Belvedere and Belvedere North have split back to two schools, so that'll be a different dynamic. There'll probably be some, you know, um, Yeah, it's going to be a mixture. I mean, Rochelle's got some really good kids. Obviously, East has a couple really good kids. Geneseo's got a couple really good kids. So there's going to be some really good competition, and then there's going to be some well matched competition as well. I think. I think
Yeah,
it's
I agree with you, Dalton.
Yeah. The finals will
Yeah.
be, a good display of talent, and then the brackets are going to find themselves, you know, competition. So yeah, good. Hopefully you've encouraged your team because
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, seeding criteria, right? So it sounds like us and Sun Perry or whatever can be matched up pretty good right there, Gene. And and preferably not feeding right into the top seed, but anyway, we went to a tournament in Mobile. So the other day, actually, it was in the Mobile Convention Center, and it was a massive tournament, 16 mats out there, and it was cool to see schools from Tennessee. I think there's some Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama, some really great wrestling out there too. Um, that was fun. So that was like an introduction to it for them. I've been really expanding our schedule. It's hard around here just to not wrestle the same few teams all the time. So we've traveled a little bit more. Just giving them an exposure and just opening doors and opportunity and showing them what wrestling could be like. And that tournament was really rough on them, right? They had two different divisions. They had like a varsity elite, and then they had just a varsity. So most of my roster I just kind of put into the varsity, and that was just to give them an opportunity to have competitive matches. Whether you're winning or losing, it's kind of like it's nice to be able to go out and score some points, right, and not get crushed. Um, and I keep explaining to them, hey, there's a lot of teams in Illinois, and that even at this tournament, that don't be afraid, right? You can get some competitive matches, you can get some wins in here, and we're gonna do just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, plus, I mean, personally, I remember a couple tournaments where I went to the barbecue, but I got to watch you compete and watch you compete at a high level, which motivated
Yeah.
me to continue on the path. So, I mean, if you can't be afraid to uh, have a tough weekend.
Yeah, get invited to the barbecue. You gotta go to that barbecue a couple times.
Yeah, you got to. It's rites of passage, I think.
You kind of got to waste your parents' money a little bit too, and they got to look at you like, dude, I'm not doing this no more. You got to either win or raise it
Yeah.
yourself because
Well, it's funny
that's
you
a
say it. My parents never once looked at me like that, so I was grateful that
same,
they
same.
allowed me to waste their money, but I didn't do it too often.
Well, I think also, we came from where we went out and knocked on doors and talked to businesses and try to get sponsorships to help cover some of that. We put in legwork to help raise the cost of it. So, um, but I'm really looking forward just to coming back to Illinois, seeing a lot of the teams, looking for Belvedere. I know Ron Hamilton's out that way, right?
Yep.
Harlem, East. I mean, it's just so many routes there. They can see what a nice gym looks like. These gyms here are like for like babies. It's like tiny, and you guys got a whole new auxiliary gym, right, Gene?
Yeah, we got a field house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I'm
so
excited. That'll be great. I mean, um, Gene, I can let you go if there's anything else you want to um, chat about or bring up. I mean, go for it. Um, but otherwise, I do want to ask Brandon some thoughts on like how the season has been so far. Have you had like outside of that tournament? Have you know competed much? Like
so we did like a early preseason takedown tournament. That was my first experience with that. That was pretty cool, right? It's either
you
first
guys
to
had
five take.
preseason.
Yeah, preseason. We did a
Okay.
preseason takedown tournament. Then we went into a dual season. Um, wrestled one dual. We've had three dual meets so far, and then went to another. It was a Louisiana tournament. It was like a ninth grade and JV tournament, but I just entered my whole team in it. I mean, what do you consider a second year program, right? I figured there's a lot of good competition, so we did pretty well there. We had a few kids win it, um, and then the kids that didn't, they got some really competitive matches. And what's nice about the season is, um, it's been there's been some challenges, right? With a bigger team, less space on a mat, so I think some of the progression of learning has just been stifled a little bit by lack of space and kids on top of each other, and just kind of getting a new crop in shape and just saying, hey, here's the expectations, here's what it takes to win, and just to even compete at a better level, right? So you can go wrestle 6 minutes hard. You got to develop good practice habits. So we're working through that. But at the same time, it's really awesome and rewarding to go see kids get first wins. And that's like every week I'm getting a new kid that's been putting in work and they've taken 5, 6 losses and now they're getting that first win. And then you see in that build, right? They're in a match for 30 seconds or actually probably 10 seconds. And then the next one's maybe 30. And then it's a minute and they're dead because they haven't wrestled longer than that. And then it goes into progression and seeing the first wins has been awesome. So yeah, we wrestled 2 tournaments, 3 dual meets, and lots to learn, a lot of growth still.
Yeah, that's great though. I mean, I saw that you had 20 kids on the expected list to come to the tournament.
Yeah, there's a Gene's been gracious enough to allow me to kind of when we're traveling that far, and I was just explaining like it's hard for me to still determine a set varsity lineup, right? And all these kids could really use some matches, and if we're traveling that far, he was very kind to say we could enter a few more. So I think I'll have 18 boys there, and I just kind of took whoever was in high school that are learning, and but out of that, there's probably 13 to 14 that are returning from last year. So a
And
good
so is that
mixture.
like is that all of your team or how many? What's
No,
your
I
full
still have
team look like
another.
right now?
I got like 30 boys and 13 girls.
Wow, that's great
So,
though.
man, I'll be leaving around 12 or so boys back and then all my girls.
Yeah, but numbers wise, that's pretty good for second year.
Yeah.
And you only
Yeah.
have how many schools in the area have wrestling?
Well, in the state, we've actually, man, we're
Well,
just
let's just
continuing.
say like in the 30, like say your Rockford
Zero.
area.
Zero.
In your Rockford area, wow, all right,
Yeah.
wow,
I
that's
travel
impressive.
at least a minimum of an hour.
Wow.
Hour and
Now,
15 hour.
have you had any success with getting some of the other schools to look at it differently?
They are looking at it a little bit differently. It's growing slowly but surely. I've had a lot of conversations with local ads, and what you kind of get is a lot of them just don't know what they don't know, so they think they have to have a lot of room. Like you need some wonderful facility or space, and it's just hard for them to visualize that. Right, just rolling some mats out in any area will work. So
Yeah.
when I talk to them, a lot of them are adding on to their schools. So like, hey, once we have this addition, but the nice thing about it is we've always operated under a different, like the Mississippi High School Wrestling or State Association, like the IHSA. They've sanctioned it, but they never sponsored our state tournaments or anything postseason. So this year they don't, but next year hopefully they will. So once it's a sponsored sport, it probably will take off a little bit more. But um, man, we jumped from 18 programs last year to almost 28 this year.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, that's just
wow.
yeah.
Adding about 10 to 12 every year.
Yeah. I think I mean, when stuff like that happens, I think that, it just kind of cascades real quick. I'm more fascinated by the fact that within your, 60-mile radius, there's no wrestling, which is
No.
crazy.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know if
takes,
I could survive in that world,
I
Brandon.
guess, I mean, maybe it's less than 60 miles. I don't know. I'd have to, it's around, I mean, it takes us at
Or
least an
40,
hour and
just say
15.
30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half to get to the closest person, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
either
I'm
by the
glad that
coach or we, go ahead.
I'm just saying I'm glad that they have you down there because obviously, in order to get anything started, you need energy, enthusiasm, and expertise to kind of inspire people to do it. So you're the perfect
Yeah.
guy for the job.
Hey, I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
Um, well, I think think about this. If they can if the kids notice what we're doing and they say, hey, look at
Yeah.
this program. I'm traveling to Chicago. Traveling to Florida. I'm traveling to Louisiana, Alabama. I mean, it sounds like they're far, but those things you can get. They call us the hub city, so we can get to a lot of places in an hour and a half. So I can get to Mobile, Alabama, in an hour and a half. I can get to the coast in an hour and a half. The schools that I go to in Louisiana are about 2.5 hours, um, and then in Florida it's about a 4 hour trip. But that's pretty appealing to me. If I was in high school, I'd want to be a part of that team.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that once people start seeing it and they're interested. I mean, the thing is, in the past, wrestling used to be an unknown thing, right? Like it literally used to be like, what is wrestling? Now everybody knows wrestling. Whether or not people choose to wrestle, that is the bridge that has to happen. So wrestling is way more understood as like what it is. Cauliflower ears are not like an unknown crazy phenomenon. It is something
Yeah.
that a lot of people recognize greatly. Obviously, the explosion of MMA has been great for the sport of wrestling, although it hasn't fully. We've been doing a lot of podcasts with people in the suburbs or towards the suburbs, and they're getting 100+ kids in their program, which is great. But out this way, we're still at, Hananiga, I think, has 60, right? So it's like they used to have 100, Belvedere's not at 60, so we're still not, thriving as far as a wrestling community is concerned. Some of the best programs that you can remember have less than 20 right now. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of interest as far as like why people aren't necessarily just getting involved in wrestling, but some places it's
Yeah.
thriving. So
Well, and here's the thing too about Mississippi is that we don't have feeder programs. There's not like a kids program yet, so there's just so much building blocks. So if we're doing well right now, and I can get 40 kids something without a feeder program, that's pretty nice, right? And I coach youth football, so I gotta just if I had more time in the day, right, and to get those kids out here, that's where I'm at next, and they want it. I've let them on the mat and they go bananas, just like a push out game. They just lose it. One day the
yeah,
coach looked over and I just had the football players in my practice doing a push out drill. And they didn't want to play and they didn't want to go over there and run plays. They wanted to come do the push out game. The coach was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's just simple. It's just teaching them sports without a game." And he's like, "Man." And next you know, is like all they wanted to do is king of the circle. And it was
yeah,
awesome. And small things like that make a big difference for them. What's up, Gene?
What's
yeah.
going on? I just got home. I'm in the basement now, so I'm good.
Got him. We got him on the video now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's great though. It's good to hear that you got so much stuff going. I mean, obviously it's
yeah.
challenging. When you as you build more of a team and you get more people to kind of delegate some stuff to, obviously that helps out a lot. But
That's been one of the things this year I've worked on is just I have a lot more parents that have tried to help coach wrestling and some others that have a little bit of experience with it. So I'm trying to delegate a little bit more, which is also challenging, right? Because you want to manage everything and you just can't do it. Um, so they're running practice right now. They're out there. I kind of stepped out. I said, "Here's what I'm thinking. Go ahead and take it." Uh, that's nice to have other people help.
yeah,
But
it's necessary.
I'm trying to recruit like friends and stuff to move down here so they can run like a club program and they can kick things off and I can just like take a breath and let them run a club. Like my old teammate Greg Hagel, I've just been on him all the time. He comes out quite a bit and so I'm like, I got a place for you to live. I can get you a job. I got it. I'll give you my shoes, whatever it takes, man. Like you wear my clothes, you can have my kids. Just get down here and just run this program for me. And then
Well,
I don't know. Just trying to mimic what you guys do up there.
yeah. Well, I think it's just obviously it's just reps. I mean, like I said before, like how you yourself as a peer inspired me to try to get really good at wrestling. You need one kid to break out, and then that inspires a peer to break out, and then another one and another one. And a lot of the kids will do it themselves. Obviously delegating, I think, as a coach is more of like management of like time and space, right? Who's in the gym, when's practice, but really when it'll take off is when the kids get each other to like pursue what they want to pursue. So
Yeah, that's a great point. We're working on that.
yeah,
That's one of my biggest things is just trying to find the true leaders and have them step up, right? Who's accountable and holding each other accountable.
yeah. Well, you can't find them. I think you build them. So just
You
keep building
think?
them each
Ah,
day. I
I
think
build them.
leadership. I think leaders there's natural leaders, people who naturally lead. But I think in the sport of wrestling specifically, you build it through consistency, right? So how you approach coaching a specific group of kids, they're going to change over the course of time. And as they change over course of time, they develop, into a leader. I don't think, when I was young, I was not a very good leader in the sense like I wasn't going to motivate other kids to do well, but I think other kids were motivated by my success. So I wasn't necessarily a leader, but I definitely led through action in some cases. And that's the same for you. I definitely think I followed instruction from you, but I saw what you did more than what you said, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Gene, what's your thoughts?
I just think it's great listening to you guys. Two of the best technicians I've ever had in my room right here.
Oh man, I watch technique all the time
some
because
of the
I don't
best
know
hair
what
you
to
got
do.
going on too.
Me?
Look at that. Yeah, I don't have it. I
Hey,
mean,
when I walk in that gym tomorrow or whatever Friday, is gonna look like Jesus came in the door. It's gonna glow. I might be levitating. You don't know what might happen. People might throw me money and bow. I don't know.
yeah,
Jesus. So
I'll bring a couple dollars for you.
hey, well, I'm
I don't know. I know we're just happy to have you up here.
yeah. Well, Gene, you did it. Look at another thing you can check off your list. You got a team from Mississippi coming to Illinois, and you know, I yeah, I aspire to be like you guys up there. I really, you run great tournaments. I'm excited to participate in something that you run. You've been doing that for a long time. That's another aspect I have to learn. We host duels and stuff, but I don't know how to run a track tournament. I don't even know if I have to pay for it. That's probably the hiccup, is that I don't want to pay for it. Probably do.
You can run it on paper.
Oh my God, we did that in Louisiana. This guy had, dude, you don't want to even know what they do there. It was like a system I've never seen. And then it broke down and we were waiting for 2 hours for this guy to like handwrite them all back. And I'm like, what is going on? They got
Well,
these like wooden boxes they drop bouts in. I thought the guy made them the night before, but I saw him the next time I went there. Yeah, you can just use
Well,
track.
I got a text today from Bucky Babcock, and he goes, "John and I were just talking." John's their head coach. He goes, "John and I were just talking, and do you really got a team from Mississippi coming?" So I had to give him a little history, and he texted back. He must have been in class because he texted me back about 30 minutes later and said, "Oh, that's awesome. That's cool."
Yeah. Well, that's a name there, right? We were never close to the Babcocks, but that's a name that
So,
I remember hearing growing up. And it's like you heard about the Babcocks and all you thought was those are some bad dudes. And they were. And but they weren't in my era. Neither yours, Dalton, but you knew of them.
yeah. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was saying before. I think when you really start building the culture through these individuals that have success that come before, and then you try to mimic and try to go above and beyond, right? So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
we'll let you wrap it
but
up. I know you do quick ones there, Dalton.
well, not I mean I go as much as we need, but I definitely just wanted to catch up and
Yeah.
get you on and let people know that um, December 5th and 6th, correct, Gene?
6th and 7th.
6th and 7th at Rockford East High School in the field house. Um, there's going to be the Giardini Invitational. What year is this, Gene?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It was our varsity tournament. Now it's Giardini. We've had a
Whatever.
varsity tournament since I was in high
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
Since
So it's
'84.
it's an annual high school tournament at East High School.
Yeah.
Brandon Lozdoski, Harlem legend, um, is coming to the area from Mississippi. He's bringing his team that he started. It's the place to be. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be watching, and
Oak
I'm just
Grove
hoping other
Warriors,
people.
baby. Oak Grove Warriors, we're coming in. We're coming in hot.